Hey everyone, welcome back to the Talk Lucy channel, your daily English practice. I'm Lucy.
And I'm Tom. So glad you're here with us today. If you're new, hit subscribe so you don't miss our daily episodes.
So, Tom, I was listening to a recording of one of my students talking to a native speaker, and I noticed something interesting. The native speaker said anyway 14 times in a 10-minute conversation. 14 times.
14 times? That's like once every 43 seconds.
And the phrase, by the way, came up 6 times, and I mean came up 11 times. That's 31 of these tiny phrases in just 10 minutes. But my student used 0. Not a single one.
0. And let me guess, her grammar was perfect.
She had perfect grammar, good vocabulary, and clear pronunciation. But she sounded flat. She sounded like a well-written email being read out loud. Everything was correct, but something was missing. Ugh, that sounds like me on every client call. I can explain the design. I can present the options. But my English sounds like a textbook.
And your clients, what do?
They go, anyway, or so, by the way, or I mean, and the conversation just flows like water. My conversation is like ice cubes falling on a table.
Ice cubes on a table? That's such a perfect image. It's still water, but it doesn't flow smoothly.
So, what are these words actually doing? They're not grammar rules. They're not advanced vocabulary words. What are they?
They're the steering wheel of a conversation. Grammar is the engine. Vocabulary is the fuel. But phrases like anyway, by the way, and I mean are how you turn, slow down, and change direction without crashing.
A steering wheel. Okay, so without them, I'm driving in a straight line. I am moving forward, but I can't turn.
Exactly.
And today, we're going to teach you how to steer. Let's start with the most useful one. Anyway. Anyway, I hear this one everywhere. Because it is everywhere. Anyway has 3 main jobs. Job number 1 is getting back on track. When a conversation has wandered off topic, anyway brings it back home. Like a GPS recalculating a route.
That's a great comparison. You're talking about one thing. You wander off topic, and then you say, anyway, what I was trying to say is, and boom, you're back on the main road.
Give me a real example.
I was on the phone with my sister Maya last night. She started telling me about this new coffee place. Then she talked about the barista's tattoo. Then she talked about her friend who also has a tattoo.
Where was the story going?
That's the point. It wasn't going anywhere. And then she said, anyway, the reason I called was to ask about Mom's birthday.
20 minutes of talking about tattoos, then one anyway, and she's back to the main point? That sounds exactly like Maya.
Job number 2 is ending a topic you don't want to continue. For example, anyway, let's not talk about that anymore. It's a gentle way to say I am done with this subject.
Oh, so if someone asks me an uncomfortable question, I can give a brief answer and say, anyway, how about you?
Exactly. It's a polite escape door. You're not slamming the conversation shut. You're just redirecting the river.
What about, anyway, I should get going? I hear that a lot.
That's job number 3, wrapping things up. It signals that this conversation is ending.
Like at the end of a phone call.
Yes. Anyway, it was great seeing you. Or, anyway, I've got to run. It's the gentle closing bell.
So, anyway is a GPS, an escape door, and a closing bell. That's a lot of jobs for just one word.
And here's the secret. The meaning changes based on your tone of voice.
How does it change?
If you say it quick and light, anyway, what's for lunch? That is a cheerful topic change. If you see it slow and heavy, anyway, with a pause, that means I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Oh, so the same word means different things depending on how I say it?
Welcome to Spoken English. Tone is everything.
Can I try? If I'm in a meeting and the boss goes on a long story about his weekend?
and you need to get back to the main topic.
I could say, that sounds amazing. Anyway, should we look at the Q3 numbers? That's the GPS version. I'm politely redirecting the talk.
Perfect. Now, what if someone at a party asks you about your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend?
Oh no, my face would go red and my whole body would tense up, but I'd say, it didn't work out. Anyway, have you tried the food here? It's amazing.
The escape door. Smooth, fast, and no drama. And notice that you gave a brief answer first. You didn't just ignore the question and say anyway. That would feel rude. So the rule is show them you heard them, then say anyway.
Yes, give them something small, then steer away. That's the polite way.
What about anyways with an S? I hear people say that too.
Anyways is very casual. You will hear it in everyday American English. It means the exact same thing. In writing or professional settings, stick with anyway. But in conversation with friends, anyways is totally fine.
Okay, now let's talk about by the way. This one always confuses me because I never know when to drop it into a conversation.
By the way is the side door of conversation. Imagine you're walking down the main hallway of a topic, and suddenly you open a side door to mention something unrelated or semi-related.
Give me an example.
The meeting went well. By the way, did you hear that Sarah got promoted? In this case, the meeting is the main topic, and Sarah's promotion is a bonus piece of news. It is something you just remembered and want to mention before you forget.
So, by the way means, oh, while I'm here, let me also say this.
Exactly. It's casual and natural. It sounds like you just remembered something and you're throwing it in before the moment passes.
Can I use it at the very beginning of a conversation?
You can, but it sounds a little different. If you walk up to someone and say, "By the way, I loved your presentation," it means, I have been wanting to tell you this for a while.
Like you were saving that comment for the right moment.
Exactly. Now that I see you, here it is.
Oh, so it still has that feeling of, this is extra. This is a bonus. This is a little gift I'm handing to you.
What a beautiful way to see it. By the way is a gift you slip into the conversation. It's never the main point. It's the little surprise alongside it. What about in emails? By the way, I attached the file you asked for.
Very common. And in texts and messages, by the way often gets shortened to the letters BTW.
BTW. Jake said he can come Saturday. That's so casual.
Because by the way is casual. It's warm and it's human. It says, I thought of you and wanted to share this.
Even in work emails?
Yes. By the way, great job on the presentation yesterday. It's a small moment of human connection inside business talk.
It's like slipping a handwritten note inside a package.
Yes. The package is the main conversation. The note is by the way. It always feels personal.
What if I use it for something negative? Like, by the way, you owe me $50.
That works, but it feels a little unfriendly. It sounds like you've been holding this inside for weeks, waiting for the right moment to bring it up, and you're pretending it's casual when it really is not.
So, by the way works best for genuinely casual things, not things that have been making me mad for 3 weeks.
Exactly. If it's important enough to make your chest tight when you think about it, it's not a by the way. It's a we need to talk.
Here's what I always mess up. What is the exact difference between anyway and by the way? They both change the topic.
Great question. Anyway changes topics by closing the current one. Anyway, let's move on. The old topic is finished.
Steve or speaker?
And by the way?
By the way changes topics by adding a new one next to the current one. By the way, have you tried the new coffee place? The old topic isn't dead, you just opened a side door.
So, anyway says, let's leave this room. And by the way says, let's peek into this other room while we're passing by.
That is the clearest explanation I have ever heard.
Okay, now for the one I'm most afraid of. I mean. I hear myself saying it all the time, and I don't know if I'm using it correctly.
If you're using it a lot, you're probably using it correctly. I mean is the most natural of the three phrases. It comes out of your mouth almost automatically. It has two main jobs.
Hit me. What's job one?
Job one is clarifying or correcting what you just said. For example, she's smart. I mean, she's brilliant. You said something and you immediately realized it wasn't exactly right, so you upgrade your words.
So it's like a verbal backspace key?
Yes. You don't delete what you said. You just add a better version on top of it. Another example. The movie was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't watch it again.
That's different from the word actually, right?
Good question. The word actually corrects a fact. For example, actually, the meeting is at 3 meetings, not 2 meetings.
Okay, I see.
I mean corrects your own words or how you said something. For example, he's lazy. I mean, he's just not very motivated. You're fixing your own phrasing, not someone else's facts.
That is the difference I have been searching for. Actually fixes facts. I mean fixes my own phrasing.
Exactly. And job number 2 is making your point stronger. For example, I really like this apartment. I mean, look at that view. Here, you are not correcting yourself. You're going deeper. You're saying, let me show you why I feel this way.
Like when Jake says, that game was so good. I mean, did you see that last goal?
Perfect. He's not correcting himself. He's pulling you into his excitement. In this way, I mean becomes a spotlight. It shines a light on the reason behind your statement.
Can I overuse I mean?
Oh, definitely. If every single sentence starts with I mean, it becomes a nervous habit, just like saying or like.
So when should I use it?
Only when you are actually clarifying, correcting, or making a point stronger. If you're just filling silence, take a breath instead.
I catch myself doing that. I'll say, I mean, I was at the store, and I mean, I saw this thing, and I mean, what is happening there? My brain is just buying time while my mouth keeps moving. My jaw gets tense because I can feel myself losing control of the sentence.
And that's when it stops being a helpful tool and starts being a random noise. The test is simple. If you remove I mean from the sentence and nothing changes, you didn't need to use it.
So, I mean is a small, sharp tool, not a big, messy one. Use it carefully.
Small and sharp, not big and messy. I like that.
Let me try putting all 3 phrases together in a real situation. Imagine I'm on a phone call with a client.
Go ahead.
So the design is almost ready. I mean, the main layout is done. We're just fixing the colors. By the way, your competitor launched a new website last week. Anyway, I'll send you our final version by Thursday.
That was perfect. I mean clarified the project status. By the way, dropped in a useful side note. Anyway, wrap things up and move to an action step. 3 phrases, 3 jobs, 1 smooth paragraph.
And it sounded natural, not forced.
Completely natural, because you used each one for its actual purpose, not just randomly. That is the difference between true fluency and just faking it.
Can we do one more? Let's try a casual situation. Imagine I'm at dinner with Jake and Lily.
Go for it.
So, Jake was telling me about this hiking trail. I mean, it wasn't really a trail, more like a dirt path. By the way, Lily, did you bring sunscreen? Anyway, Jake, what happened with the bear?
What happened with the bear? I love it.
Did I use all 3 phrases correctly?
Yes. You corrected yourself with I mean, you added a quick question with by the way, and you brought the main story back with anyway. That is how real people talk.
It feels like once you know what each phrase does, they just appear in your mind. You don't have to force them.
That is the goal. They become automatic. It's not something you actively decide to do, it's just something you do. Like breathing. You don't plan each breath, you just breathe.
Can I try one more? A text message situation. Lily just sent me a message about dinner plans.
Go.
I'd write, "Hey, I think Italian food sounds great for tonight. By the way, I ran into your mom at the grocery store and she looked amazing. Anyway, should I book a table for 7 p.m.?
Natural and warm. You handled the dinner plans, dropped in a sweet personal detail about her mom, and circled back to the practical question. That's 3 layers of communication in just one text.
And without those phrases, the text would be, Italian sounds great. I saw your mom. Should I book a table? It is grammatically correct, but it feels cold.
Exactly. It sounds like a robot writing a report about your evening plans.
Here's something I've been wondering. Can you stack them together? Like, anyway, by the way, are you coming to Jake's party on Saturday?
You can. Anyway, by the way, are you coming to Jake's party on Saturday?
So, anyway closes the old topic, and by the way immediately opens the new one.
Exactly. They work together as a combo. A quick reset plus new information.
What about, anyway?
Also very natural. For example, I was gonna complain. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
That sounds a bit messy, but it sounds real.
Because it is real. You started to correct yourself, but then you decided to drop the whole subject. That is how people actually talk.
And if you are listening right now thinking, I never use these words, that's okay. That is exactly the gap these 3 phrases fill.
Just pick one word. Try to use anyway tomorrow in just one conversation. The other phrases will follow naturally later. Before we wrap up today, let's lock in the key vocabulary we used. Let's do it. First word, transition. A word or phrase that moves you from one idea to another smoothly. All 3 of today's phrases are transitions. They are the bridges between your ideas. Next word, redirect. To change the direction of a conversation to a different topic. Anyway is your best tool when you need to redirect. It gently pulls the conversation back to where it should be.
Next word, clarify. To make something clearer or easier to understand.
Is your clarifying tool. When your first attempt at saying something was not quite right, you clarify it with
Next phrase, side note. A small piece of extra information that is not the main topic.
By the way, introduces a side note every time. It says, this is extra, but I wanted to mention it.
Next phrase, get back on track. To return to the main topic after going off topic.
When the conversation wanders away, anyway gets you back on track. It is the GPS recalculating.
Next word, rephrase. To say the same thing in different words, usually to be clearer.
Helps you rephrase things on the spot. You said it one way, and now you say it a better way.
Next word,
digress.
To go off topic temporarily during a conversation.
Everyone digresses. The real question is whether you can steer the talk back. And that is where anyway comes in.
And finally, filler. A word used to fill silence in a conversation, often out of habit rather than for actual meaning.
All 3 phrases can become fillers if you overuse them. The goal is to use them with a real purpose, not just as background noise.
8 words that describe exactly how conversations move, pause, and change direction.
And remember, anyway brings you back. By the way takes you sideways. And takes you deeper. Back, sideways, deeper.
All right, that was a really fun conversation today.
Now, we have a question for you. Tell us in the comment section. Which of these 3 phrases do you already use, and which one have you never tried? Try using the missing one this week and tell us how it went.
We read every single comment, and they help us create better episodes for you.
If this video helped your English feel more natural, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone whose English is perfect, but still sounds like a textbook.
We'll see you tomorrow with another easy conversation.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.